Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, empowers, and educates you through life's transitions. And each week on the show, we talk about the art of intentional living. And what does that mean to you and for you? It means that your life is not subject to outside circumstances, events, or people, that you are in the one who's in control of your life. And you get to choose and decide how you want to live and how you want to feel each day. And I am excited to share what we're going to talk about today because I have a fantastic guest today, Dr. Forbes Riley. Yes, Dr. Forbes Riley. She's a doctor now. She is the $2.5 billion woman who has sold over $2.5 billion in sales of products and services. She's a remarkable woman. She's one of the most sought after motivational speakers out there. She is the coach and mentor to Fortune 100 companies. She's known as the queen of pitching. And pitching is so important. And pitching isn't salesy. Pitching is effective communication. It's the way you communicate who you are, what you do, and as Forbes would say, most importantly, asking for what you want in a clear, definitive way. And this is something that so many business owners and entrepreneurs struggle with. They get asked the question, who are you? What do you do? And they stumble and they're like, well, I'm a life coach, or, oh, I'm a chiropractor, or, I'm a, financial advisor, or whatever it is. They don't effectively communicate who they serve, how they serve them, and what is the outcome and the result for who they serve, their clients and their customers. And Forbes has been doing this for over 25 years. It's something with the numbers 2 and 5 with Forbes. Okay, first of all, she's been doing this for over 25 years as an award-winning TV host. She's, as I said, over 2.5 billion and counting in product sales. And she's had over 25,000 graduating students of her speaking and coaching business. And she's going to be joining us shortly in just a few minutes. And before we have her come on, share her story. She's got an amazing background. I want to know why, now she's decided to become a doctor, and so many questions I have for her about her why and what drives her, and why is the pitch so important? Why we need to know our why, and so many other important things. So wherever you are in your life, whether it's personally or professionally, effective pitching is a part of that, because it's not just about, like I said, it's not just transactional in terms of a sales conversation. It's an effective way to communicate in any scenario. So she's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. So before we have Forbes join us, the first thing I want to do is tell you that we are available live every single Monday at 11:03 a.m. Pacific time in 3 places: on the E360 TV network, on Facebook Live at I Have Today with Diane Forster, and on YouTube at I Have Today with Diane Forster. And then we're also available as my podcast on all the podcast platforms. Again, I Have Today with Diane Forster, and on all the streaming platforms that carry E360 TV, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Android, you name it. Wherever that's available, that's where we are. But where you catch us live are those 3 places. So if you want to write in comments, or you have questions that you want to ask, the place that you would do that every Monday at 11:03 a.m. is on Facebook, my business page, I Have Today with Diane Forster. So please subscribe to us, follow us, rate and review us. The more you do that, the more, if this content resonates with you and you're getting something from it, please don't keep us a secret. Spread the word and let others know about us as well, because we're here, as I said, to inspire, empower, and educate you, and teaching you the art of intentional living, which is self-empowerment. All right. So, one of the things that we do every single week on this show is we set an intention statement. And an intention statement is like an affirmation. And why we do this is because we want to give you the opportunity to take what we're teaching you today, the content that we're teaching, and allow it to really anchor and resonate with you. And so by giving you an intention statement and a place to access it, that'll allow you to do it. And this works wonders. I can't tell you. I have screensavers on my phone. They are constant reminders. These intention statements are constant reminders of those goals, those thoughts, those dreams, those affirmations and statements that I want to rewire into my subconscious mind. This is why we do this for you. So our intention statement for today is I have today to effectively ask for what I want. I have today to effectively ask for what I want. And so, what I want you to do with that is learn that you can have anything and everything you want, but you have to know what it is. I know that Forbes is going to talk about this today, and I know I talk to you about this a lot all the time. The universe cannot give you what you want if you aren't specific enough and clear enough in number one, what it is, and number two, in communicating what it is. So if there's something that you want in your life, if you want more money, if you want better business, if you want greater health, if you want true love to find the love of your life or better relationship or anything that you want in your life, you've got to be able to effectively communicate it. So this is your reminder that you can have it and you can ask for whatever it is you want. Just make sure that you're effectively communicating it. So, what we do with our intention statements is we create a space on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. There's a button there that says wallpapers. And under the wallpaper section, you will see it's not there, right there, a plethora of these intention statements. So they're all here. So just what you would do is just take them, the ones that you like this one, and take a screenshot of it and use it as your screensaver for your phone so that every time you look at your phone for the entire week, you are going to see that intention statement and you'll start to say, yeah, I have today to effectively ask for what I want. I can effectively ask for what I want. I figure it out. I know what it is, and then I can ask for it. So that's what we do there. So make sure that you do that and make sure that, again, that you're following us there. Now, before we bring Forbes on, and I know she's headed here, so she will be in the studio any moment. What I want to do is I want to tell you about some upcoming things going on at I Have Today before we get into the interview. And the first thing that's happening is I am hosting a live webinar. It's a free masterclass called Launch and Host Your Own TV Show, where I'm going to teach you how you can launch a TV show that is added as a vertical to your business to build your credibility, build your authority, build your brand. Forbes can certainly speak on this and why that is so important and why that's so important now. Now, this masterclass is for a specific group of people. This is for women over 40 who are mission driven in helping women. They're running a business already and their business is going well, but they want to add TV show host to as a vertical in their to their business, as a list of your talents and your assets and what that has done. Forbes is going to talk about that, what it's certainly done for me. So if that's you, ladies, and you're out there and you're working in your business and you really have a mission to help other women in your life, one of the best ways right now to do that is to launch your own TV show. Have your own platform. Yes, it's great to go on other people's platforms, but having your own will elevate that brand and credibility exponentially. So if you want to attend the free masterclass, then go to dianewebinar.com, dianewebinar.com. Well, you can go, and this is live. It is not going to be replayed. So register for it, and hopefully I'll see you there. All right. So before we get into our interview with Forbes, I want to first share with you a little bit of information about her. So take a look at this video.
Audio Jungle.
Let's give it up for Forbes Riley!
The reason you don't have what you want is you don't know what it is.
I've grossed $2.5 billion by tweaking people's pitches on infomercials. You hear things differently than I do. I hear money every time somebody talks. I hear enrollment, engagement.
Hi, I'm Forbes Riley, and today we've got a great product for you. Take a look at this.
She's got me working out, or what are these called?
It's called a spin gym.
She launched her multi-million-dollar company by mortgaging her house and her kids' education fund. She knew it was going to happen.
I think pitch is everything. I don't care what kind of product that you've got. If you don't know how to pitch or articulate it, you will go nowhere.
I coach CEOs of Fortune 100 companies who have stood there and told me, Forbes, you pitch my company better than my marketing team. You don't get to sit home and wait for the phone to ring. No, it doesn't really work that way. You write down action steps. You get a mentor. You find someone who's done what you've done, and you ask them how they did it. If you dream it and you hold it to be true, you keep driving towards that. You keep talking about that dream, and actually you keep taking action, and then one day you're like, oh my God, how did I do that?
I started out as an actress in Hollywood and a TV host, everything from the X Games to my own talk show. And about 20 years ago, I took the entrepreneurial route. I ended up on Home Shopping. I'm tired of seeing women suffer. I grew up heavy my whole life. My mom was 260 pounds and she was miserable.
You want to be yourself. I appreciate that you want your family, that you want to be glamorous and gorgeous and fun and have people tell you that you're wonderful, don't you? You want all those things. Okay, I can't be the one to tell you that. You need to be the one to own that. And that's where your success lies. When someone says to you, what do? They do not care what you do. They don't? No, they care what you can do for them.
It's never the resources. It's not your time or your money. Billionaires have no more time than you and I have. They have resourcefulness. They have a deep down drive. And if I can empower you to do that, you can have everything you want. Let me make your life explode. I don't want to change it. I don't want to transform it. I want to make it the best version of you possible.
There you are. All right. The $2.5 billion queen of pitching, gorgeous, amazing Dr. Forbes Riley.
Yo. I love, it's fun to watch that. She sounds very impressive, doesn't she? She looks good on camera.
She is the bomb. She is got it going on, girl. Forbes, so nice to see you.
Oh my God, Diane, so nice. It's been too long. It's been a couple of years since last time I saw you, and you look great and younger than ever. So something's working.
Well, back at you, sister. In fact, we got a little snapshot. Cherry, can you pull up that picture?
Oh,
the first time you and I met in person.
There you go. I had a great time. That was, what a great expo that was.
That was so much fun. And we had such a great conversation. We're talking about manifestation, talking about the spin gym and the spifter, the fact that we both have boy-girl twins. Like we have so many great things in common. So I'm so honored to have you here. I've been wanting to have you on the show for the longest time. So I'm grateful for your time.
A lot has happened and I'm excited to support you, my girl.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, all right. So there's so many places I want to start. You know where I want to start first?
Go for it.
The doctor. So what made you want to become a doctor?
All right. So number one, I'm a massive researcher. I could probably get a doctorate in 3 different fields. I graduated college with 2 degrees in 3 years. I'm quite a weird academic and most people don't realize that. And so the science behind my fitness products got me into the National Fitness Hall of Fame. But the whole art of pitching and the neuroscience of the brain and breakthrough that I'm doing led me to an honorary doctorate, I should say that, out of the business school in Atlanta called Trinity College. And it was, it was about relationships because I know what I've done. I'm turning 62 next month. So I've had a couple of decades to do the work that I've done. And I'm surprised that people notice. Thank God for social media, because I was alive before social media. So people don't realize that I was responsible for the X Games that happened. Not solely, but I did the first 6 years hosting it with Stuart Scott. Not typical for me, that I hosted the Laugh Factory for 3 years and worked with every major comedian out there from Robin Williams to Jerry Seinfeld for a different 3 years of my life. And then I started and pioneered the world of selling fitness products on television. But it all came down to this world of pitching. And now I've gotten 12,000 students to go through my trainings. So it's a beautiful, hang on a second, I'll go grab this little, I've got lots of fun things. I mean, it was an extraordinary ceremony to wear the cap and gown and to get the certificate. But
Look at that.
then myself, Grammy Award winner Jodie Watley, and 2 other participants got surprised with this. This just came in the mail because it was so hard to ship here. But check this out. This is it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. And when I saw that it was a Lifetime Achievement to Dr. Forbes Riley from the President of the United States, I now have a medal. I have pins I can wear on my lapel. There's Kamala Harris. And you're like, I didn't realize people noticed what I was doing, but I guess they did. And I'm insanely grateful because I'll tell you what it does. It gives you just enough credibility. I'm going to be speaking at the UN. I have a TED Talk coming up. I've got books being published. And I think after all of the decades of work, people go, oh, you're pretty serious about this. You're not just that infomercial host that's done 194 infomercials and movies and things, which not bad. I have no complaints. I've just had a very diverse career. And the lesson for everyone watching is that I'm not a big 3-year, 5-year, 10-year planner. I've always put my nose down, done the work, dreamed like in a year chunk. And I will tell you, it has amassed, looking back, at a very long career. And congratulations. But I don't know when I started if I could have envisioned any of this.
And you know what? If you thought about it that way, you could never have, like you just said, never have envisioned it being as big as it is. And even if you could, it would be so overwhelming. I love what you just said about the focusing on the year plan, and that you do it, Forbes. I've seen you and I know how passionate you are about people, and you do put your nose down and you do the work and you genuinely care about other people rising to the best version of themselves. That is, it's all heart-centered. So,
well, I appreciate that. It's a funny thing because I look back on my life, and I think you do that as you get a little older. And I was a very ugly, awkward little girl. And I love when people say, oh, that's not possible. Well, if I can, is it okay if I shared my screen? Because, one of the things you talk about, I heard you talking about television. Well, television is a very visual medium. I've been lucky enough to be on television since I was 16 years old, quite by accident. But when I started out, let's see if I can share this with you. If I go to a share screen.
I don't know. Cherry, is that possible?
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible on this streaming platform. We're on we're not on Zoom. We're on StreamYard.
Right.
So,
I know. It says Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. To fix that, go to System Preferences. Not quite sure what that means, but I will tell you there is, and I don't mind it on this platform, but I'm not sure how to do it. Wait, hang on one quick second. I'm just going to go one more place because sharing is such a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And no. All right. Well, there you go. The point is, I was a very ugly, awkward little girl. I had braces for 8 years of my life. I had a broken nose. It was a very odd-shaped face, frizzy hair, overweight, and not very attractive. And so, in fact, I've got new braces on, which is crazy at this point in my life. But I grew up not having, look how cute you are. I didn't have cute friends. I didn't have any friends growing up.
Oh, honey, you had to see me 10 years ago.
Right. Well, as a kid, I was really awkward. I was smarter than all the other kids in the class, which is why I graduated high school. I graduated, I guess, high school a year early and graduated college with 2 degrees in 3 years. And so talking to kids my own age was not fun. And I dreamed bigger, but on the outside, I looked kind of goofy. And so I didn't have a whole lot of friends. But you know what I did have, Diane? And it's funny. I give advice to little kids now. If you feel awkward or weird, yay, I'm your biggest cheerleader. Because I dreamed that I could look like what Forbes Riley looks like now. I dreamed of being a movie star. I used to watch the Oscars every year, just pretending with my hairbrush that I was getting an award. And the funny thing about manifesting is it takes all different shapes and sizes. And what happened for me was when I was 15 years old, my dad was in a horrific accident. He cut off the front of his hand in a printing accident and spent 3 years in the hospital. And so now being the awkward, lonely kid, I wasn't even really in school. I spent a lot of time with my dad. And one day my mom said, I'm really sorry, we have no money for college, which is the only thing I was looking forward to. And then she said, but there's this beauty pageant, the Miss Teenage America pageant, and they're auditioning. And we looked at each other and was like, well, that's too bad. And the funny thing about that is that my dad's doctor overheard us. And he said, you know what? I'm going to fix her nose. And that doesn't seem like a lot to the average person. But when you look at the photo of this ugly girl and all of a sudden having a cute nose, my eyes opened up, my smile went from to this, my braces came off. And I went into this competition with 500 other little girls from Long Island with this big why that I had to save my family. I was their hope to go to college and, and survive all of this. And based on all of that, I won. And it's only a good story because I did win. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been such a great story. And the funny part of that is the Nationals, it was on television with Bob Hope in 1977. And that was the worst week of my life because it was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so I go from I did it, to being the outcast New Yorker who's talking like this, right? And they're like, y'all have the funniest accent I ever heard. I'm like, what the freak you talking about? I have an accent. Well, not only did I not win Miss Congeniality, but it was one of the worst weeks of my life. I understood what prejudice was. Well, you know, if you love the saying, life happens for you, not to you, like I do.
Yeah.
That week formulated an entire foundation for me to put the first black and white acting groups together 37 years ago in my college, to have a foster son who was very, very dark from South Central Los Angeles, who was murdered, which is a crazy, unfortunate thing. Wow. But I don't see people the way other people do. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about that was Miss Dallas won. And forever I've hated Texas. No, just kidding. But it taught me a lot about inclusion. I never wanted anyone to hurt as much as I did in that situation. And part of my driver is I'm a great underdog champion. You have no idea some of the extent of the things I've done because it hurt so much. But if I hadn't gone through that, I would have never known.
Right. It's so true. The deeper the pain, the harder the story, the journey, the higher you rise. That builds up that resilience muscle. And you can either let it take you down or you can let it take you far. And you've let it take you so far and have been able to impact so many people's lives because of it, which is why I'm, such a huge fan of yours, because you're so relatable and you've got this massive following and this massive success, and yet you're just you, and you're down to earth in many ways, and you're just open to the, with yourself, your life, to the world. Like, you just let people into your heart, which is really, really beautiful. So what, okay, so that was then. So what switched you over? How'd you get into TV then, and then to pitching? Because I definitely want to talk about pitching. I titled this show about pitching. I think it's so important because so many people don't know how to do it right, and ask for what they want. So what was the thing that switched and really got you into television?
So I'm in college. I'm going to be a lawyer, right? I got my head down, and I'd always auditioned for plays, and I always got in the chorus or townsperson number 3. And my senior year, I auditioned for the biggest play that Shakespeare ever wrote for a woman, called As You Like It. And when I walked to the call board, expected to see my name under the chorus, and it wasn't there. And I remember having a moment thinking, God, really? I can't even get a chorus part in college? And then I looked to the very top to see who won the lead role. And there was my name. Wow. And I went to the professor and I'm like, I'm sorry, what's going on here? And he sat me down and he said, look, you're my ideal Rosalind. And he started telling me all the characteristics of me that only I had seen inside of me. Wasn't looking at the frizzy hair or the nose, whatever I had, people always saw. And the crazy thing about Professor David Richmond is he was 100% legally blind. And when this man looked at me and saw me for the first time, something changed. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, one person can change your life. And the play went on to be a major success. I called my parents and said, you know what? I love you guys. I'm going to have to pay you back for the rest of my life because I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to New York to be an actress. And they couldn't help me. I moved into a crazy little tiny apartment. You had to go outside to change your mind. And I landed the lead in my very first feature film called Splatter University. Wow. Which now has its own YouTube channel. It's amazing what this became. But back then I didn't even tell people, but it was the lead in a feature film. And I went on to do lots of soap operas and lots of television. I worked on Broadway. I did all of that because I had this notion in my head that I was supposed to matter somehow. And I loved acting and I studied it. And then I moved out to Los Angeles, and a bit of the rest is history. The problem for me is I have definite career ADD. And so I did a lot of different things. I couldn't just act. I was acting and hosting and doing comedy, and and everyone always said, you have to focus on one thing. They're probably right, but it didn't work for me. And so I went to an audition one day. There was a pen on the desk. I said, sell me this pen. I said, funny thing about pens, but my mom used to write me longhand notes in college. And I realized a pen like this can reach out and touch somebody's heart. That's the first pitch I ever did. Wow. Well, Body by Jake came out from the dark. Cable TV was just starting. Grabbed my face and you're going to make me a lot of money. I was like, okay, what are you talking about? And for 5 years, I wrote and hosted and pitched every single fitness product that came out during that time. This is before QVC and HSN even started. This is before infomercials started. And all of those people, we're talking the Suzanne Summers, the Tony Littles, all the people that you ever saw were on my show. And if you go to YouTube and type in Fit TV, you can watch the old episodes because I got all the videotapes. And then when infomercials came out, I was the only choice because no one else was even doing that. They didn't even know what it was. And I hosted the first 35 of them. And I worked with Jack LaLanne and Montel Williams and George Foreman. And I gave Kim Kardashian her start. People don't realize this. In an infomercial, she did a steam iron for me, and it's on YouTube. And we launched Tybo and Billy Blanks. I mean, I launched everybody. I was just there with the goofiest talent in the world, this ability to pitch. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, it is my innate superpower. I can take any product, Diane, anywhere and pitch it better than anyone else.
Yes.
So let's play a little game.
Okay.
I'm going to love on you, though, but pick up an item on your desk. I'm going to ask you to pitch it, right? What do you got? Go for it.
I have a pair of glasses. Okay. So these are reading glasses, and they also have the blue light protection. So it allows you to, keep them on and rest your eyes at the same time. And here's why this is so important, because we spend so much time in front of the screen.
I'm going to stop you right now.
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing that you did. And by the way, good job. Good job. Here's what you did that most people do. You immediately, and I teach this, I have now a 5-step formula that is raging popularity. When I asked you to pitch it, number one, you changed your voice a little bit to this, I'm now presenting mode, not a lot, but enough that it was not you.
Yeah.
And then you went right to the product.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem with that. I tell people you learn everything about the product. And it's the last thing you talk about.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say to you, hey, Diane, and I'm going to make an assumption. You're probably my age, right? Do you know how hard it is on your eyes? When you hit 40, your eyesight starts to go and you all of a sudden need reading glasses. The worst thing for me, I went to a doctor and he asked me how old I was. And he said, I bet you're about 40. And I'm like, excuse me? He says, look, I can tell. I can tell by your eyes. This is really sad. It happens to all of us, right? Well, can you imagine so all of a sudden you're in a story. You got a little bit about me. I set the stage. And then at some point I'm going to go, by the way, when I show you that you've got this problem, I have the solution.
Yes.
And it's a very different way to position the concept of pitching.
Yeah.
And I teach a thing called springboard stories. I just told you about me and my doctor. So and by the way, you'd be very easily teachable because you immediately knew what you needed to do.
Yeah.
People don't buy something because you think they need it. You've got to get them to want what you have.
Yes.
It's a very subtle technique, but I will tell you, I have grossed $2.5 billion. And I've done on infomercials in the middle of the night. And there are techniques that I've always done. The next part of my career was home shopping for 28 years. You have to sell, Diane, between $2,000 and $5,000 a minute, every minute you're on screen. How do you do that? And that's what I am now showing people to, number one, not go into pitch mode, because we don't like that. We don't like the selling thing. But if I can get you to understand the biggest problem that you solve, and I've got your solution. Here's another one, Diane. Put your arm up like that. Put your arm up. Feel the bottom of it. How does it feel? Nice and tight or a little wiggly, right?
It's a little wiggly.
Oh, well, no. Well, so here's the thing. Summer's coming. Bathing suits and halter tops. If I told you that I've got a product that if you do this for 5 minutes a day, and by the way, these arms are 62. Hello.
Amazing.
Now instinctively, you're like, I want it.
Yeah.
That is like this golden moment when you can get someone to do that. It is a little like training a dog. I used to train dogs. Okay. Here's how I came up with some of this is that a dog, you learn to do tricks, right? Well, how do they learn? Because you hold a little treat in front of them. Okay. All right. I want the treat. You want me to give you a high five? Okay. There's a high five. Give me the treat. Want me to roll over? Okay. Give me the treat. And when you start to understand the mechanics and the psychology behind the art of enrolling somebody, all of a sudden you win. Now, here's the other thing I want all of your listeners to know. You don't just pitch products. You pitch every day. You pitch me to be on your show. You pitch people to want to do the workshop that you're promoting. You pitch to go to your favorite restaurant, and hopefully some cute guy pitches to ask us to marry him.
Yeah.
Hello? So if life's a pitch, and that's how I view it, you are always, number one, the cool thing about pitching my way is that you're always thinking about the listener, the other person, not what you want to say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that makes you very likable. You solve a lot of problems, and you can grow this crazy world of social media. You can get very influential.
So many nuggets in there, and that's why you are truly the queen of this, because especially when someone gets called on the spot like that, and it is the story and the connection first. And you're right, the product is last. It is the last thing.
I know.
Yeah. Because if you think about most inventions, they've come from a frustration, a story, an event occurred, and that's what created the solution. So you got to connect people into that story so that they can see themselves in it and go, oh, I really need that,
I know.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what's been interesting is that you have to practice it. You can intellectually understand this, but I do now. For the last 2 years, I did something since I've talked to you. Now, this is interesting. You probably remember meeting my daughter back then. We probably met maybe about 4 or 5 years ago now, right?
Yeah, it was exactly 4 years ago, and your daughter was there. Yes.
Right. So 2 years ago, which now makes her 17, COVID hits. She's stuck at home, and I was making no money online. I'm an infomercial host. In fact, I'm in a movie at the moment on Amazon Prime called Farm to Fork to Love. I still love to act. But I wasn't getting this whole build the whole back end and all the things that you need to do to have a successful online business.
Yep.
And she comes downstairs because she's been doing this since she was 12. And even then, people were interviewing her on how did you get to be such a successful digital marketer? She was doing e-commerce stores. And she said, Mom, what are you doing? I said, nothing. She said, you're doing nothing? It was the middle of COVID. And she said, let's launch a business. Let's launch a business around your pitching. And we created 3 trainings and the entire back end. We launched on day 1 with what we created. It took us about 18 hours a day for 3 weeks. On the morning of day 2, I go to my funnel account, which had always said about $0 or $3 and $4.
Yep.
There was 25K there. And I turned to McKenna and I said, what does K mean? She's like, Mom, you made 25 grand last night. I'm like, I did? In the first month of business, we have a company where we teach pitching. We made 100,000. And a year later, this 18-year-old, she's the CEO of my company, has grossed $1.2 million. Wow. And it is because of her back end and my vision. And so now we have this whole concept. We've had over 12,000 students in this very short period of time. I mean, I'm well known enough, but I took all my pitching and said, wait a second. And now that people do Zoom calls, you can remember a time before Zoom when no one would get on a Zoom call. Now we have 300 to 500 people in a call, all doing and participating all over the world. Yeah. And so something radically changed. But what I love is that I still love the one-on-one. I still love working with people. And I basically now watch people explode their businesses. We've made millionaires. And I don't think I could be happier about how we do this. And I'm doing it right here from my living room.
So fantastic. I love that story. And oh yeah, she was a rock star when I met her. Just so amazing. And so being able to do that. And you're right. This is your secret sauce. So you should be, and you're doing it. I have the opportunity to bring that to the world now in a way that people can learn how to do it, done for you, done with you, the way that you're doing it is incredible. Yeah. Yeah. I know that's what I'm doing. My coaching practice, my background was in advertising and television sales. And I don't know how deep of my story, but my reinvention to create I have today. Well, so I was working in advertising and television sales, and I spent the last 20 years working at ABC. And while I was working with ABC is when I came up with the idea for the Spifter. I had no desire to invent or do that, but my mantra was, well, I just want to see where this goes, and then had all that crazy success with it. And I thought, wow, if I can create something out of nothing like this, like what else can I do? So it planted the seed. And then it was the reinvention of, getting out of my toxic marriage, my suicide attempt, my awakening, and my rebirth to, wow, I'm really meant to help other women who were in the state that I was in, empower them to get out of it. I'm getting choked up saying this. But where was I going with this? So with the, being really a mindset expert, that is my secret sauce. And being able to tell immediately where someone's blocking themselves and keeping them stuck in their lives and helping them reframe. So with my mantra meditations. But then now this other program, I'm like you, I I cannot do one thing. I am a creative. I am a creator, and we create. So we want to keep creating. And so this launch your TV show thing came up because people were asking me, will you teach me how to do what you're doing? And that's what we have to listen to, because they're seeking us. They're seeking you. They want your expertise. And they're not, some of them are aware of it, but many of them aren't. And they have to, they have to be able to say, oh, well, maybe I could be doing this better. Maybe there's a better way. I shouldn't be figuring this out on my own. I should be going to the expert like Forbes, who knows how to do this, $2.5 billion. And you've been doing it all your life. So, and now that you've created this program and you're automating it, it's even better.
Oh,
right?
It's unreal. And I'm blown away. Well, by what I didn't know either. I mean, I've taken classes. I haven't stopped learning since I was a kid. I never stopped learning. I've always taken classes and always had major mentors. And when I look at the people that I've had access to, from the Russell Brunson to the Tony Robbins to, Grant Cardone put me on his stage in front of 10,000 people 4 years ago when he was nobody. And I'll tell you what, I've maintained those relationships, but I've always had that drive. And you're right. It's people don't realize what we know. And by the way, I didn't know some of your stuff. And I also am on man number 2, which is definitely the second time. Toxic is an interesting conversation with women about what you get what you tolerate. And I lived through that. And it makes you a good example, because I've been through hell and back. And you said before how relatable I am. Yeah. I always feel honored and lucky to be doing this. I remember a time when nobody would take my calls, when nobody knew who I was. And I had the same ambition I do now. And now that I can open doors, I'm enjoying it. But it took me a lot of self-development to get here. And I think that's the thing I also preach to women. Please do not look at the tip of this iceberg right now. I have a beautiful man. I don't know if you have, I don't think you would have met him.
Meet him.
You met Joshua? Oh, you met Joshua.
I met Joshua.
Right. That we just started dating 5 years ago now. He was at that event. I'll tell you what, it's 5 years later. We've been through a little bit of crazy stuff. He was hit on a motorcycle by a car 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And January 2nd, he was taken out, shattered his foot, his body. He was in a wheelchair for 6 months, lost everything. And all of his beautiful muscles. He's a world champion bodybuilder.
Yes.
And in June of 2020, as the whole world was falling apart, he woke up with his crutches and said, I'm going back to the gym. I'm going to be Mr. Olympia next year. And I thought, oh, dear God, have you seen you? And he did it. And he got back, and I watched what dedication means, what it means to cry every night because you're in so much pain, but you're doing it anyway. And we are a beautiful couple. It's been 5 years, and I'm more in love now than I ever was. I'm grateful to the universe for gifting him to me and vice versa. And it's been exciting, but I do that. See, that's a manifestation thing for me, much like you. And I love meeting someone at that level who had an idea, who got it to market. You now know things that you didn't know before. I'm blown away when I talk to entrepreneurs and people in network marketing who don't know what a funnel is, who don't know what email marketing is, who don't know any of these things. And I'm like, you're leaving a whole lot of stuff on the plate here on the table.
Yes.
And what McKenna and I have realized is that she went about 4 years ago. There was an internet college that doesn't exist anymore. And she got some of the best coaching. I mean, Les Brown was there, and Adrian Anthony Morrison and Perry Belcher and a lot of the guys who created the whole systems. She had access to that.
Wow.
And she had access through me. I mean, Russell Brunson shouts her name out from stage in front of 10,000 people because at that time she built Joe Theismann's website. She was doing e-commerce stores for celebrities because they didn't know how to do this. They had no idea.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, well, we've become relevant. And I think if you live long enough, everyone gets a season and a reason, but you got to have a good why. You have to be dedicated to what you're doing. You have to know that you're going to fail. I do believe I don't allow any of my students to say the word try. If you say the word try, you owe me 5 push-ups. You know why? Yeah. Because you either did it or you failed. And if you failed, you learned a lesson. But if you keep saying, well, I tried, that's like the biggest escape mechanism. Stop trying and start doing. And failing all over the place, because God knows I certainly have. And then hello. But people look at us and they don't see that.
Right.
And it's really important that I am this campaigner going, look, if you're the awkward, ugly, goofy kid, if you don't feel like you fit in, I get you. I understand you. But we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on where you're going, why you're going, and how to get there in the shortest period of time. And think about fastest way to the cash. Let's stop doing everything. Even though I'm heart-centric, I not only own a couple of businesses, but a television studio. I own a real 5,000 square foot TV studio, houses and Airbnbs and all the things that you want to own. because you're allowed to do that too.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing to teach women. Oh, wait. And I did it on my own. There's no man who handed me. I mean, lots of people have helped me, but I didn't marry into it. I certainly didn't I used to say I slept my way to the middle. But I will tell you, I also understand that this particular book took me 3 years to produce. And my daughter came along and she created a program, get this, Diane, called GSD. Stands for Get Shit Done. And now she can get shit done with an ebook, an online course, an email list, a funnel, and hiring somebody to help you. At 19, she did all of that. And you're like, because she looked at me and all my friends who have lots of tabs open, and she's like, Mom, you guys don't do the internet right. And I'm like, I was born with the phone attached to the wall. You had an iPad by the time you were 5. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm loving this symbiotic relationship. How old are your kids now?
24. They'll be 25 in August. Yeah. And they are, my son is a music producer and my daughter works at iHeartRadio. So somehow they both ended up in the music business, but we'll see where life takes them. Right. You know?
Yes, and yes. I'm grateful for the, last year of COVID because my kids did their senior year in my house. Yeah. And as much as they didn't like it, it kept them from a lot of peer pressure, which they were succumbing to.
Yes.
And that's how we started business. My son runs my HR department. He's working on going to college, but he just started an NFT business and he made $10,000 yesterday. You're like, I'm sorry.
So
what did you do?
That is so impressive. Truly impressive. Yeah. When my kids went to good schools. My daughter graduated from Chapman. My son graduated from USC.
Oh, wow.
He went to work for Oracle, and 9 months in, he was saying, Mom, I just feel like I'm going to die. Every time I walk off the elevator into the office, like my heart sinks. And I said, then get out of there. Like listen, for me, there's no such thing as failure. Everything is feedback. Everything is a lesson along the way. You can quit. And I'm not saying quitting in a bad way, but if it's not feeding your soul and driving you every day, there's something missing and you need to figure out and go to the ends of the earth to figure out what that is that makes you jump out of bed every day, excited about what's in front of you. Even if it's not your forever thing, knowing that I don't know where the dots are going to connect, but I do know that there's value in what I'm doing right now. And I'm just going to keep pursuing until I find that thing. And so I gave that to both of them, and they neither one of them is afraid to quit and start something new. She started out in the entertainment industry, working for a management company. Then she went to a PR firm, and then she landed here, and she's like, now I feel like I'm in my space. I'm doing more marketing. So I think your kids have you as a role model who you've done so much, and they clearly don't let moss grow under their feet. They're doers, which is so great. Yeah. And don't they teach us too?
I could go on and on. In fact, one sec.
Yeah, they do teach us.
Well, I will tell you that I've learned a lot. I also just love being mom. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. So now I have these 2 beautiful kids who love their mom and I respect them. And it's a lot of, in fact, she's right here for a second. Come here. I know you're not working very much, but you may not remember Diane. Come here for a second. You met her. You were on TV. Come here for a second.
Hello.
Hi.
4 years ago at the Expo. Remember when you were on the radio show in the Expo? It was a big thing in Los Angeles, and just have to say hi to Diane.
Hello, Diane.
Yeah. And
Hey,
she's got
McKenna.
24-year-old, soon turning 25-year-old twins.
Oh, fun.
And I was talking about GSD and all that we're up to, and it's been 4 years since I've seen her. And so just tell a little bit about what you're up to.
We started a business 2 years ago that has been an awesome experience, a coaching business. She does all the front end coaching, and I've dabbled in that, teaching how to get projects done and kind of do the back end of the business. And I run our team. We've got a team of 16 people now, I want to say.
Wow.
We just onboarded someone new this week. And I manage them, and I get the projects done and handle the bookkeeping and whatnot.
Now, but you haven't gone to college, right?
No, I have not.
Because you're only 19.
I'm only 19.
Wow. So,
I started working at 19. So good for you. That's fabulous.
Yeah, we started this business when I was 17, and I actually got into the marketing industry when I was 12. I started my first business then.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, if a mother or daughter is looking at this, what advice would you give to them? How do we make this work?
Make what work?
Our relationship, business together. I mean, it's a fantasy. I was telling her how I ended up not having a lot of friends growing up in school. And all of a sudden, I've got like the coolest business partner in the world because I made her.
Thank you.
But she's unbelievably smart. And yes, growing up with me, it's funny because I put Diane on the spot. I made her pitch something. And I have a challenge for you. Okay, watch this. Let's see what she does with these glasses. I know. Okay, well, give me just 2 seconds. If I were to say pitch the glasses, what would you do?
Now, McKenna, realize you're sharing this with the world.
Okay.
TV viewers, podcast listeners. No, I'm saying this in the best way. This is such a great lesson.
All right. So if I were to be pitching these glasses, I would say, all right, my name's McKenna Riley. I'm 19 years old. And you know what I'm most thankful for in this world is my perfect eyesight. I have 20/20 vision, and there's nothing better in the world. However, these last couple of months, things started to get blurry for me, and I was really confused. I was like, what's wrong with my eyes? And so I went to an eye doctor, and they recommended to me these glasses with 1.2 lens. Bear with me here. And I tried them, and I've never seen more clear. I thought before I tried these glasses, I had 20/20 vision. So I recommend if you are having trouble seeing anything like that, I would definitely look into the double star black glasses because not only did they help me see, but they're very comfortable on my face.
Now, so 2 things I want to point out. So one, Diane was like, you put me on the spot. We live on the spot, don't we?
Yes. Yeah. And it's been so long since we're pitched. I'm actually we just launched a new training and I'm in a debrief meeting for it right now, all about pitching. And it's been a while since I've been doing this.
But it's interesting because you just picked it up. You had no idea what I was going to say to you, but you didn't go to the glasses first.
No.
Why don't you do that?
Because that is absolutely wrong. Because when it comes to pitching, it doesn't matter what you're pitching. It matters who's pitching it and who you're pitching it to.
Yes.
Wow. So out of the
very well done.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with you right now. I love you very much. I know I just called you out of a meeting, but I just thought, you know what, Diane, need to see you.
Yeah.
And it was
nice.
good.
Thank you for being here.
Well, she is a former, she worked in advertising and television, and she's actually got a real television show. So it's not a podcast. It's way bigger than that.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see myself on television.
I love you. Thank you, baby.
Bye, have fun.
We'll send you the link. Okay.
Thank you for indulging me.
Of course, my pleasure, but we only have a few minutes left. So I want to ask you, and I'm going to put you on the spot, which is not ever on the spot. But one of the things that we do here, you probably didn't catch it at the beginning, is we always start the show off with an intention statement because our show is about the art of intentional living. And our intention statement was, I have today to effectively ask for what I want. And I know that that's important to you, but I want to ask you because we're collecting these and making a montage video. So if you could say, hi, I'm Forbes Riley, and I have today to, and fill in your intention statement on how you live the I have today way.
Well, hey, everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I have an intention. I have today the thought that's in my head as I'm getting older. And my intention is to live out, I'm going to get very emotional, the best part of my life with a man that I love, 2 beautiful children, and an army of people who need my help. And I'm here to serve and love on them and continue this life for as long as I can to be the best human being ever.
So beautiful. So beautiful. You make me cry. Oh my gosh.
Well, I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you as beautiful as you are, that you were unsuccessful in killing yourself. I value that a lot. I know what it's like to go to the very end and go, wait, is anybody here watching? Am I even supposed to be here? Yeah. And so to turn that around and make it a platform for others, my girl, you are beautiful and you're amazing. And you were back then. I remember sitting in your set and how you organized everything and your colors were right. And you had it going on when I didn't. And I've learned a lot from you by watching you from the sidelines. So I'm so grateful that we reconnected in front of everybody.
Me too. Me too. And I think we should definitely connect offline because I have some ideas for us big time. But I want to share you have an offer. Obviously, we want to drive people obviously to your website. So we're got a ticker for that. It's ForbesRiley.com. but you also shared your, here, let me find the link. We have this too. Your Pitch Secrets Masterclass.
Yeah. So here's what I've been doing. Since COVID hit in March of 2020, every Sunday except Easter, I have been going live for 2 hours at 5 o'clock Eastern. And what I do on Zoom is I not only take pitches, but I teach a masterclass in pitching. And I think that link has it for $19. You get 2 hours of me. And it's not a joke. I interact with you. I am there. I will show you things that you've never even imagined. So if you have a product, a service, an idea, I guarantee, money back guarantee, with the next $19 you've ever spent. And can you just imagine one pitch would change your entire life? It's possible.
Yes. Yes. Amazing. So everybody go there, pitchsecretsmasterclass.com. And that's on Sundays for only $19.
I know, right? And you know why I don't do it for free? I don't need your $19. Actually, I donate the money. I do it so that you'll show up. It's an interesting strategy that people, when you say it's free, they don't come. I want you to be there. I want you to have donated that 19 because we have a program to help people who financially can't be part of this world. So that's what we do with your money, just so you know. And if you paid $19, man, you are there.
You know, not only that, I'd like to make another point. $19 is very, very affordable. I don't care who you are. And I know that's may sound cold. It's not. You've got to believe that you're worth something, and you've got to invest in you, because otherwise who else will invest in you? You've got to understand that saying yes, leading with the heart, going after the thing that you want, not letting the monkey mindsets go, oh no, I should probably be paying bills with that or doing something else. No. You are the best investment in the world. Our philosophy around here is 1% better every day. You should be doing at least 1% better every day. That's not overwhelming. That's doable.
But also stop telling people what you can't afford, and not the $19, but I can't afford to do this. I grew up with the no money mentality. We had no money. We were broke. I know what it's like to say that. I have money now, and sometimes I say it. Here's what you want to say all the time. I can't afford to miss this. Forbes Riley is live for 2 hours talking to you. Hello. Yeah. And that goes, and I also do this. Every time I take out my credit card, Diane, just to function in the world, I literally say there's more where this came from.
Yeah.
And you realize that cannot keep you from your dreams. Do not let it. And I'll be the first one to be your advocate so that you get out of that mindset. If I hadn't invested in the teachers and the coaches, the masterminds that I've done, I would have never met people. I mean, even coming to our event, our expo, you paid to be there, right? I get it. Guys, this is an investment in you. And I urge you, whether it's this or anything else, find the mentor, find the classes. Don't do this on your own. It will take way too long, and no one's on the planet that long.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for being here and spending time with us and me I have today, and sharing your brilliance with the world.
Thank you.
And you just keep doing what you're doing. You keep shining bright the way you are. And I truly love having you in my world, and love everything you're doing, and love you. So,
and I'm glad that life's come full circle. And so we have lots of this in our life. Here, there you go. It sits on my desk to remind me that we're all full of love and a little bit of happiness and a whole lot of the last one will be faith. A whole lot of faith. One of my favorite F words ever. Next to Forbes. Thank you so much, my girl. This has been a blast.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Oh, she's so amazing, isn't she? God, I love her to death. That was really, really powerful. So we don't have time for our mantra meditation today, which is okay, because I think we use this time wisely. I'll just set the intention again that, I have today to effectively ask for what I want. And your life is now. It is today. You do not know what tomorrow will bring. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. You've got goals, you've got dreams, you've got desires, you've got ideas. You go after them unabashedly. You ask for the help you need. And even somebody as famous as Forbes Riley gets mentors and gets help. And I do all the time. I invest mightily in myself. And you don't wait. Let your mantra also be, go after your dreams and just see where it goes. Because like Forbes said, she could have never written her life the way, it's happening for her. It's far beyond her dreams and expectations. And I will say the same thing is true for me. What's possible for you? So please follow me on social media. Please register for the Launch and Host Your Own TV Show masterclass that I'm doing at dianewebinar.com. dianewebinar.com. If you've ever thought about being a TV personality and hosting your own TV show, please join me for that. And I'll teach you everything that I do here behind the scenes so you can have your own show. And don't forget, follow us, subscribe, rate, and review. Diane Forster Official. And I Have Today with Diane Forster. And that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love and light. Take care. Bye-bye.